Well, I was just passing by. I'm in Williamsburg again this morning. I'm just passing by the place that's going to be the establishment where they're going to be making the Korean chicken. I guess specialized in the Korean fried chicken. And this is what it looks like as I was passing by. I wasn't wondering to make a video about it or really commentary about it. Just passing by. It looks like they'd be having a bar as well somewhere. From the looks of it. Unless they changed mid what they were on about what they're gonna do. I don't know. Anyway, I was thinking it's kind of strange, kind of odd, that we inhabit a realm that does not recommend. Well, it does not recommend lying. It recommends that honesty is the best policy. It's very difficult, or it can become quite, I don't know, unbeneficiary, not a great benefit to you, to people if they go through the entirety of their lives not telling lies. At least white lies, you know. Someone say, "Hey, how do I look?" And you just tell them how they look. Yeah, all things considered, everything from, and according to you, it may not even be a lie, and it's just be what you thought it was, and the truth for you. But it may not be the truth for everyone. But just the same, it was a lie for you, right? So you said, "Well, you look fabulous," and maybe they did look fabulous, but for you, they didn't look fabulous. But you said it just the same, rather than telling them what you really thought, or what you really felt. We inhabit, we dwell in, and we roam in a realm where you always, not always, but probably always, have to be cautious about someone coming to you with some slick shit, full of dishonesty and lies. We inhabit a realm, we roam in a realm where it's an option to whether to be honest or dishonest. And so many of us are on our P's and Q's about the dishonest ones or the dishonesty. It takes quite a bit of time to let someone in and relax, if you ever do at all, self-assured or fully assured that they were going to up with you. And if they tell a lie to you, it's not to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Subversively somehow against you, to do you some kind of harm or discredit or injustice. Maybe just a white lie, like, "How do I look?" And, "Hey, you look fabulous." And you're appreciative of that, right? Perhaps. But they will tell a white lie at least. What do you think about someone who tells no lies at all? They just have no lying in them. What kind of life do you think this person, this individual has? What kind of function do you think that is for them? Do you think that's even functional, especially as an adult, that you don't lie? Oh, do we have any liars out there, by the way, listening? Not at this point, maybe some other point, eventually. Anyone out there lies, tells fibs, white lies, big lies? There's a lot you can do with a lie. In this realm, there's much you can do with a lie. You can make an entire enterprise, build an entire enterprise just comprised of lying, built off of lying, being dishonest, huh? Telemarketers, all kind of shit. I'm just saying, it's just something I was thinking about. I was just thinking about just a moment ago. It's just like how deep that is, that's where we're at. Now, I don't necessarily think lying is a sin. The morality of it, it's subjective. But it is something, it is quite the phenomenon. It's something to marvel at, that it exists. And in this realm, it's optional. place called Earth, whether to tell the truth, be honest, or dishonest. But what does it mean? Just the same. That exists as a reality in the universe and on this particular planet. It's something that you can do. You can lie if you like, if you choose to do so. So what do you do with a lie? Some people lie and don't even know they're lying. Like Bob Marley said, because I feel like bombing a church. Now that I know that the preacher man is lying. He didn't know he was lying. He's just telling you what he thought was right, what he thought what it was. Bob Marley says, well, it's a lie. So now I feel like bombing a church. Are we, if you believe in some kind of a system where you're judged for it or whatever, are we held accountable for the lies that we tell that we don't realize that they're lies? When we pass it on to someone else, and it affects them in some type of way that may be adverse or not best of their a benefit or whatever, it doesn't benefit them. It's like Bob Marley is saying, you threw me off with the preacher man, threw him off with his fucking lies. So now is the preacher man responsible for that? Could be a false prophet. Who knows? It's deep out here, bro. A false prophet doesn't realize he's a false prophet. Not to say he intentionally was trying to be a false prophet. But anyway, looks like it's going to be a nice little ambiance I have going on here. It shouldn't be that much longer, it looks like, by the looks of it. There's another establishment down there, King, I think what's it called? King World Sushi or something like that, off of International in Westwood. I don't know if they're ever gonna get that up and running. So they probably said we're gonna have a grand opening, this, that, and that's such, and then they never had the grand opening, it never opened up or whatever, and all the people expecting to come in there and get all jiggy with it. What kind of lie is that? I wonder if I can get a job working here. I never worked with Korean people before. I worked with Chinese people before. They pretty much just let me go my way and do my thing, especially the ones who didn't speak much English at all. Every now and then they want to come over there and exercise their English with me or whatever. And engage me in some kind of conversation towards something, leading towards something, more than likely, no doubt, not just for shits and giggles. Well, something they want to know, or if they want to, get into something, from starting with, hey, how you doing, Tony? They call me Tony. It was just my vibe. It's kind of my vibe, because I think about it, and this is off topic, I guess, but I'm going to say it real quick and cut out. I think about how a lot of people can't just come and do their job and leave it at that. You got to do a lot of PR. Like, let's say you work at Walgreens. That's where I mentioned this not too long ago. And they're in there just having a conversation. When I walked in, just idling because there wasn't much business going on. They just aren't really allowed to just go and be by themselves and do what they have to do and just leave that shit alone, all the PR and public relations and conversation and small talk alone. So if you have an 8-hour shift or better, you're just sitting there just going on with small talk, keeping up small talk. Of course, you don't have to do it all day, every fucking day. But if you just want to go in there and really just do your job, what they said you're hired to do, right? You come in here, you do blah, 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 and you don't have to sit here and do small talk or nothing like that. You're not gonna make it that job long. I know for a fact. You won't, because I've experienced that shit. I just want to come in and do my job and that's it? No. You got a lot of other shit to do. And I'm not a very likable person to begin with. For some reason, people look at me and they say, I don't like them. Then they get to know me and they say, I really don't like them. So whatever. They have ways of saying it without saying it, though. You know what I'm saying? Like you're fired for some fucking reason or another. But I do my job like a motherfucker sometimes, depending on what the job was. I get the job done. But all that fucking public relations shit, man. So maybe I won't get a job here. Oh, yeah. In other news, but kind of related because we were just talking about someone saying, well, I have a grand opening or something like that, and then turns out they pushed the date this way and pushed the date that way, and perhaps for some reason something occurs in business and they never quite launch at all. And was it a lie? Was it not a lie? Was it just something you were expecting and something came around and now you just can't fucking do it? I don't really know what you classify that as, but I said I was gonna get some music up. Yeah, actually I was supposed to have some music up a long time ago, like something professional, right? Something you could say, well, if you wanted to, if it was, I don't know, qualified, not because of a lack of an interest, but a lack of professionalism, you could slap this on the goddamn radio if you like. That kind of music, not just something you do on a smartphone, on guitar and harmonica and singing and throw it up there on YouTube. Well, I'm still working on it. And I discovered a few things recently, relatively recently, that I wasn't aware of. I'm thinking about all this investment of this and all this investment of that, and turns out it may not take as much investment as I thought after all. So, still working on it. For those who give a shit, I suspect out of 8 billion people in the fucking world, I'm gonna find someone who gives a shit. Regardless. So, I keep pushing. Y'all have a good day.